Hello all and welcome back to another episode of Buy This Not That, and today we have a super strat showdown between two big metal brands. But unfortunately only one of these guitars can come out victorious and shows us that you can get more metal for your money. Alright, this is the axe, let's go! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Nick. Today we're pitting a couple super strats against each other today to find out which one gives you more metal for your money. These two axes are really similar and have some stock features that really do justify its price tag. We're talking about the Jackson Pro Series Soloist SL2A MAH versus the Solar A1.6FR Vinter. Yeah, I know, it's basically the battle of the polar bears. Now these two bad boys come in just around $1,200 but are some of the most shred-worthy axes in this price range. Per usual, we'll take a look at a few things to include construction, hardware, electronics, tremolo, and the overall appearance. All right, let's start with construction, my dudes. Both of these axes have a 25.5-inch scale and are an HH pickup configuration. The Jackson comes stock with a mahogany body and an ash top. Something that's really cool about this Jackson is that if you look really closely, the top of the guitar, that ash comes through, so you get that little kind of wood grain look. Now this guitar comes with a through body maple neck with graphite reinforcement and an oiled back finish. Additionally, the Jackson sports a 2-ply black celluloid pearl binding, not only around the body, but the neck as well. It's really faint, giving this guitar like a really clean look. It also rocks 24 stainless steel frets on a compound radius ebony fretboard, which gives you those really flat high frets for shredding. The classic Jackson headstock is actually attached with a scarf joint, meaning the headstock is actually glued to the neck at an angle. Speaking of headstocks, this is where the access to the truss rod on the Jackson is located, at the headstock, just kind of like a regular thing. I'm a big fan of the truss rod located at the heel with that access. I think it looks a little better, but Jackson's not really known to do that, albeit a lot of the newer models are having that feature. Something that I like to point out in these videos is where these guitars are made. This is a Jackson Pro Series, meaning it was made, crafted, and QC'd in Indonesia. I know that can be a discriminator for some of you, so there you go. Now the Solar Vinter is in a guitar family that's really expanding in popularity across the internet. Created by the one and only Ola England, Solar guitars are really becoming a metal staple in the metal world. The Solar rocks an alder body, a painted maple neck, meaning paint on the back, and an ebony fretboard. Painted necks can be a little bit of a turnoff for some guitarists because they can get a little sticky. They're really not as, I guess, smooth or fast as a matte bare neck, but that's really up to you to decide. The Solar rocks 24 stainless steel frets but differs from the Jackson in that its fretboard is a straight radius at 13.7 inches. If you're not into a compound radius, the Solar might be for you. Now Solar, due to repetition and the just sheer amount of guitars they put out on the market, their reverse headstocks are really becoming kind of a signature of theirs. Similar to Jackson, the Solar headstocks are really unique and they're making their own signature and splash into metal guitars. Now, also like the Jackson, the Vinter's truss rod adjustment access is at the headstock. Also, these guitars are made in Indonesia just like the Jackson. And you know, a lot of guitar companies farm their manufacturing and QCing to factories in Indonesia, South Korea, so you never know, they could be made at the same factory, you never know. All right, moving on to hardware. Now the Jackson SL2 MAH comes with some awesome black nickel hardware that really accentuates and contrasts against the guitar. Starting at the top, this Jackson rocks some Jackson branded sealed die-cast non-locking machines. Matching it is a locking R3 nut in the same black satin finish, and it also sits perfectly up there where the 12-inch radius is at the end of the fretboard there. Now coming down to the pickups, there are no pickup rings to be found on this bad boy. Thank God, because direct mounted pups are by far the best looking and the best sounding pickups you can get. Now going down to the controls, the Jackson has two dome style knobs, one for volume, one for tone, and it's also got a 3-way toggle style selector switch. I like the setup for a few reasons. One, because it has a toggle switch, and two, because the toggle switch is just 3 positions. In my opinion, and this is just how I set up my gear, the less settings and pickup positions you can have, the better. Now moving over to the Solar, the hardware on this bad boy really complements its like ice giant look. Now starting at the top, the Solar comes with Solar branded locking tuners in chrome. It's also got a matching Floyd Rose 1000 nut. Coming down to the pickups, just like the Jackson, no pickup rings to be found. This is a great clean look for the guitar because I feel like this guitar prides itself on being like super sleek, no roadblocks, and just clean. Now the Vinter comes with 2 dome style knobs, but I want to talk about these for a little bit. Now the volume and tone knob are located further away from the playing hand, almost kind of behind the bridge. And this is really good for those that actually kind of turn down the volume accidentally when they play, like me. So when the volume knob is actually away and kind of beneath the bridge, it really helps to prevent that. Additionally, the tone knob on this bad boy is a push-pull voicing switch, but we'll get more into that in the electronics section. Lastly, the Solar has a blade-style 5-way selector switch, which gives you more pickup variations than the Jackson. All right, now let's take a look at electronics because this is where it gets interesting. Both of these bad boys rock some awesome stock pickups, which are some of the best in the biz. The Jackson comes with a Seymour Duncan distortion pair with a TB6 in the bridge and an SH6N in the neck. Designed for drop tuning, the TB6 was really designed for the metalhead in mind and for that really high output. The SH6N is really crunchy but maintains its clarity in the neck. I've used one of these in the past and I really loved them for leads. These pickups tend to be a common pair used by a lot of prominent metal artists because of the versatility and the ease of use in their signal chain. Now the Soloist Vinter provides pickups that check the box in regards to versatility. This guitar rocks two high output Fishman Fluence Moderns. Fishmans are becoming increasingly popular in the metal world, but for good reason because of what you get out of the box. For starters, these are active pickups with a two-way voicing switch that's triggered with the push-pull mechanism of the tone knob. This allows you to get an array of tones to include like single coil Texas twang all the way to like full shred capability. Keep in mind, these pickups are driven by a 9-volt battery, which you'll see in the rear cavity. The thing is, when you're done playing with this guitar, make sure you unplug it because the plug keeps the 9-volt battery activated and it will die. Now moving on to tremolos, which you guys know is my favorite. Even though this is my favorite, there's really not a lot to talk about here because they both rock the same trem. They both rock a Floyd Rose recessed 1000 series. The Floyd Rose 1000 series is the same dimensions and design as the original Floyd Rose. It's just made and QC'd in Korea. You can always tell if you have an original Floyd or not by flipping it over, and on the base plate it'll say made in Germany. Now the 1000 series are reported as using the same materials as the original Floyd Rose, like hardened steel. So this trem, if that's true, is a pretty good buy. It comes with a standard union nut to attach the tremolo arm. It's not a pop-in design like the 1500. And then keep in mind, the Floyd Rose 1000 series, you can't buy that aftermarket. It's an OEM product, meaning that it comes stock on some guitar brands. Okay, lastly, let's check the appearance of these bad boys because the key to playing good is looking good. These guitars both rock that quintessential super strat body that has kind of been made famous by Jackson over the years, and I feel like Solar's taken it a step further. As I said earlier, they both have direct mounted pickups, which makes these guitars look really clean. Now the Pro Series Soloist does have a more conservative look when it comes to like the horns on the Strat body. This body style is still super iconic to the Jackson name and looks really good with that black celluloid pearl binding that's on the outside. Something that really stands out in the Jackson is that wood grain that you can see on the top. Yeah, I know these guitars are basically both the same polar bears, but this wood grain finish that you can see is a really nice touch and it sets it aside from the other guitars in white. Lastly, the black satin hardware and the piranha tooth inlays are a really nice touch, and it sets it apart from the other Soloists on the market. Now the Soloist Vinter is a straight blizzard beast. The super sharp horns, the pure white finish, the chrome hardware and pickup covers that contrast against the guitar just look really good. I'm personally not a fan of the Solar headstock. I love the Jackson original, but you know, that's really player preference. Either way, that Solar headstock is unique to them and it's a trademark. Lastly, and usually people either love it or hate it, on the 12th fret there is a Solar logo, which is this guitar's only fret marker. This Solar logo really makes a Solar, so if you like that and you're like a minimalist, this might be for you. All right, we have a tough decision here and we need to find out which one of these guitars gives you more metal for your money. This one was super hard because these guitars are so similar in so many areas, and what you get stock right out of the box are just phenomenal, versatile features. But unfortunately, there can only be one. I'm gonna go with the Jackson in this case, but hear me out. First off, the Jackson pickup combination is really more in my wheelhouse. I have two-way voicing switches in some of my guitars, like the push-pull on the tone knob, and I don't really use them. I also really love passive pickups and what you can do throughout your signal chain to really dial in your perfect tone. And another reason why I like the Jackson is all the small stuff like the piranha teeth inlays, the black nickel hardware, the ash top finish, and the binding you get across the body and the neck. Just believe me, the Solar was really close in regards to like the Fishmans, the locking tuners, the actual versatility you get with the pickups. But the price has to be really right and the features have to be really good because I get wary about the reports of Solars cracking fretboards and the labels at the headstock peeling off. I actually did a video looking into the cracking fretboard issue and the customer service associated with Solar. I'll put a card up at the top and a link in the description if you want to check that out. All right, guys, that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. If you have either one of these guitars or just have an opinion, let us know in the comments. With that said, I just want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss any content like this. Catch you later.